He heard that the driver of the vehicle was identified as a person named Courtney Brantley, and that she was involved in a relationship with Dontae Morris. You also heard that she never identified the person who was in the vehicle with her. The prosecution has told you that you'll hear from a person named Ashley Price, and that Ashley Price will tell you, oh, I came to the police, I came of my own volition, and I have evidence about this murder, and I have to tell you that Dontae Morris made statements to me. But you'll also hear from Ashley Price that she didn't really know Dontae Morris, that she hadn't known him for a very long period of time, that she was introduced to him by someone else, and that, as she puts it, she didn't know him like that. You'll also hear from Ashley Price that she had concerns about her children being taken away, that she had concerns about possibly being charged in this case, and you will hear that she received financial benefits in assistance to move, in assistance to gain a subsidized apartment, and some forms of financial assistance from the office, from the officials involved in the case. You are here, and it is your job to wade through the testimony and evidence of the witnesses, to set aside their potential motives, their potential biases, and find the truth. The right to have a fair trial is precious in our system. It's one that's inviolate. It's one that's sacrosanct. The state has requirements to prove its case beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. Today, I am here along with Byron Heilman and Christopher Bolt to represent Dontae Morris. And that is our duty and our privilege, and that is what we intend to do. We would ask that you, as jurors, follow your sacred oath to take on that difficult job of trying this case, deciding the facts, weighing through the evidence, winnowing out emotion, and reaching a just and lawful verdict. Thank you.
I remember the jury, we're going to proceed with the testimony. I just want to remind you that what the lawyers say to you during their opening statement does not constitute what the evidence is in the case. You'll hear evidence beginning now. I'll ask the state to please call its first witness.
Actually, before we do that, maybe first.
Yes, sir.
Stand right here, face the court.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this cause be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Right this way.
Please slide up to the podium. Tell us your full name, please, ma'am.
Kelly Curtis,
Spell your first name and your last name.
Kellyllycurtis.
Thank you. Please proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, good morning.
Morning.
Ms. Curtis, did you know Officer David Curtis?
Yes, I did.
And how, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
He was my husband.
Okay. In June of 2010, did he work for the Tampa Police Department?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And what did he do for them?
He was a patrol officer.
And how long had he worked for the Tampa Police Department?
He had been on a little over 3 years.
And on that day of June 29th, 2010, you recall that day, I'm assuming?
Can't forget it.
Okay. Did he go on duty that day?
Yes, he did.
And do you recall what his shift hours were?
He worked midnights. He'd go in at 7 and he'd be off at 6:30
So
in
he'd
the
work
morning.
through the night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ms. Curtis, did your husband have a habit of carrying a small notebook when he was on duty?
Yes, he did. He would carry it in his front breast pocket.
Okay. Up here on his chest?
Mm-hmm.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes.
Ms. Curtis, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State C for identification. And I'm going to remove one of the items and just ask, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And does that appear to be one of your husband's notebooks?
Looks just like all the others I have.
Okay. And in the years that you knew your husband, did you become familiar with his handwriting?
Yes, very well.
Do you recognize the handwriting on that notebook?
It's his handwriting.
That's Officer David Curtis's handwriting?
Yes, it is.
Under the witness, Your Honor.
Is this C1 or 2 or what?
This is part of a composite of 2 items, State C.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I did not hear that admitted in evidence. Is that?
No, I did not tender it for admission.
Exhibit C. He just referred to Exhibit C. You have questions? Any questions?
No questions of this.
Thank you, Mr. Manley. Please call your next witness, State.
State would call, sorry, Your Honor, State would call Officer Stephen Roy.
Stand right here, face the court.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this cause be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Right, just place, sir.
Sir, please tell us your full name, then spell both your first name and your last name.
Stephen Roy, S-T-E-V-E-N-R-O-Y.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm a police officer with the city of Tampa.
How long have you worked for the City of Tampa?
10.5 years.
What position do you currently hold, sir?
I'm a patrol officer.
Are you certified by the state of Florida as a law enforcement officer?
Yes, I am.
Going back to June 29th of 2010, in the early morning hours, approximately 2:20, 2:25 in the morning, did you have occasion, well, let me ask you first, were you on duty at that time?
Yes, I was.
And around 2 o'clock in the morning, going forward to like 2:15, 2:20, what area of Tampa were you patrolling in?
I was up on the interstate I-4, monitoring traffic, doing speed enforcement.
Now, does that area where you were patrolling, does that have a designation within the Tampa Police Department?
Yes, it does.
And is that a district designation?
District, correct.
And how many districts are in the city of Tampa?
There are 3 districts.
Okay, and what district were you patrolling in?
District 3.
Okay. And on that early morning, were you familiar with Officers David Curtis and Jeffrey Kokab?
Yes, I am.
And were you on the same squad with them at that time?
Yes, I was.
And when did that squad come on shift and when did the shift end?
We came on at 7 o'clock at night and we left at 6:30 in the morning.
Do Tampa Police Department patrol cars and the officers, do they have radio equipment? Are you equipped with radio equipment?
Yes, we are.
And at least back at that time, and I'm assuming now, do the officers stay in contact with each other?
Yes, we do.
And is there a central radio dispatch that you also stay in contact with by radio?
Yes, we do.
And are each of you individual officers able to hear the radio traffic where other officers are either contacting central dispatch or another officer?
Yes.
And on that evening or that early morning of June 29, 2010, did you hear Officer Curtis call in that he was making a traffic stop?
Yes, I did.
Was there an Officer Logan that was also on duty that night?
Yes, there was.
And was he also in your squad?
Yes, he is.
And did you respond to an area where Officer Logan had also made a traffic stop around the time that Officer Curtis made a traffic stop?
Yes.
And why did you respond to that area where Officer Logan was?
Because both him and I were running radar enforcement upon the interstate.
And did you hear a fourth officer call in to dispatch that he was pulling in or stopping to back up Officer Curtis on
Yes,
his
I did.
traffic stop?
Yes, I did.
And who was that?
That was Officer Cocab.
Now, I want to talk to you, well, first of all, have you had an opportunity to view and listen to a dash cam video recording from Officer Curtis's patrol car?
Yes, I did.
That was a recording of the stop that night where the officers were killed.
Yes.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Counsel states B. I'm going to show you what's marked as states B for identification. Do you recognize that item of evidence?
Yes, I do.
And is this a CDR or DVD?
It's a CDR, CD recordable.
Okay. And have you viewed the audio and video contents of that CD?
Yes, I have.
Did you indicate in some way on the outside of the CD when you viewed it?
Yes, I did.
All right. And you put your initials on there?
Correct.
All right. And does this video accurately depict you and another officer responding to that homicide scene involving Officer Curtis and Officer Cocab?
Yes, it does.
I want to ask you, Officer, about some of the call signs used in this audio recording of this States B by Officer Curtis and Cocab. In this recording, the term Union 6 is used. What does that stand for, Union 6?
Union stands for our squad. 6 stands for the zone that he was covering.
Okay. And what does signal 50 mean? That's another term we hear in the audio.
It's a traffic stop.
So when Officer Curtis says Union 6 signal 50, what does that mean?
That means he's going out on a traffic stop.
Okay. And what does the term Union 6-1, what did that mean?
That's another designation for a different officer.
Was that Officer Cocab's call sign?
Yes, it was.
Now, in that audio portion of States B, we hear a dispatcher asking Officer Curtis, Union 6 1034. What does that stand for?
1034 means, are you okay?
Okay. So the dispatcher is asking Union 6, Officer Curtis, if he's okay?
Correct.
And those 1034 checks, do the dispatch, if an officer's out on a call, on a traffic stop, or another call, does dispatch, if they haven't heard anything from the officer, do they try to ask that question at a certain interval?
Correct.
At some point, Officer Roy, are you alerted to respond to the scene where the officers were found?
Yes, I am.
And where were you when you were alerted?
I was up on the interstate.
Okay. And were you with anyone at that time, or were you on your own?
I was by myself, but I was waiting for Officer Logan to let me know that he was okay on his stop.
Okay. And how far away approximately were you from the intersection of 23rd Avenue and 50th Street?
A mile or less.
Can you take us through the call that alerted you to go to the scene?
Well, there was a tone put out, and then we also were told that they were getting calls that officers were down.
What is a tone? What does that signify?
It just puts you on alert that they have some emergency traffic coming through.
Okay. And did you respond to that scene?
Yes, I did.
And did Officer Logan respond?
Yes, he did.
How long did it take you to arrive at the scene from where you were at when you received the call?
Less than a minute.
And when you arrived, were you and Officer Logan the first officers to the scene?
Yes, we were.
Tell the jury, if you could, when you arrived there, what you found in reference to the victims, Officer Curtis and Officer Kokab.
When I arrived, I parked on the median. I was crossing the street, and I looked over, and I could see them.
Honor, may we ask the court for a brief recess?
I'm good.
That's fine, Judge. Are you okay? Do you want to?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Let me just kind of walk you through this. When you found them, where were they located?
They were on the side of the street.
Okay. What position were their bodies in?
They were both lying on their back. Dave was perpendicular to the street. Jeff was laying at approximately a 45-degree angle with his head and his shoulders up on Dave's chest.
Okay. Did you and Officer Logan separate them in some form or fashion?
Yes, we did.
Okay. You removed Officer Kokab from Officer Curtis's chest?
Correct.
All right. And then did you and Officer Logan, well, first of all, did you stay with one of the officers at that point?
Yes, I did.
Who was that?
Officer Curtis.
Okay. And did you begin to perform CPR on him?
Correct.
And what did that consist of?
Compressions.
Okay. And that's chest compressions?
Chest compressions.
Okay. And was Officer Logan working on Officer Kokab?
Correct.
Did you, either you or Officer Logan call for fire rescue to come to the scene?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Did other officers end up arriving fairly quickly after you all arrived?
Yes, they did.
And did they end up relieving you and Officer Logan?
Yes.
When you got to Officer Curtis, was he breathing?
Yes, he was.
Did he have a radial pulse?
Yes, he did.
And did you see wounds to his body?
I didn't see any wounds, no.
Okay. Did you see what appeared to be blood or some type of matter from the body?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was he responsive at all when you tried to speak to him or
No.
talk to him? Okay. After fire rescue responded, were Officers Curtis and Kokab at some time taken somewhere?
They were taken to the hospital.
In which hospital?
Tampa General.
And did you respond there yourself?
Yes, I did.
May I have a moment, Judge? I'll tender the witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, I missed a motion, well, question.
Good morning, Officer Roy.
Good morning.
Now, officer, you were on scene, but as you were on scene, many other people were arriving, correct?
Correct.
EMT arrived,
Correct.
firefighters arrived,
Correct.
and other police officers.
Correct.
Additionally, there were other civilians on scene as well.
I believe there was a couple of them on scene when I initially got on scene, but I didn't pay much attention to them.
So overall, there were quite a few people walking around and looking around and examining the scene, isn't that correct?
As far as police officer, yes.
That's all I have, Your
Can you
Honor.
redirect, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Did this officer be released for subpoena, or do you need to remain under subpoena?
He can be released, Your Honor.
Counsel, may he be released?
Yes.
Officer released for subpoena. Please call your next witness.
State would call Officer Logan.
Face the clerk, please.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give this cause be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Right this way, sir.
Please, sir, tell us your full name and then spell both first and last names.
Yes, sir. It's William J. Logan, W-I-L-L-I-A-M, last name L-O-G-A-N.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good morning. Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a police officer with the city of Tampa.
And how long have you worked for the city of Tampa as a police officer?
A little over 10 and a half years.
Are you a state certified law enforcement officer?
Yes, I am.
On June 29th of 2010, were you on duty that day?
Yes, I was.
Okay. What time had you gone on shift that day?
We started our shift, I believe, at 1900 or 7 p.m.
Okay. At approximately 2 a.m., did you conduct a traffic stop of a car?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what was that for?
That was for speeding. I was running radar, or Officer Roy and I were running radar enforcement, speed enforcement along Interstate 4.
Did you at some point receive a message or alert from your dispatch that officers were down and needed assistance in some area?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when you received that, did you respond to an area?
Yes, I did.
Where did you respond to?
To 50th Street, and I believe it was 26th Avenue.
Okay, could have been 23rd Avenue?
Yes.
All right. Approximately how far were you from the scene when you got the call?
I was approximately, I would say, maybe 2 miles.
How long did it take you to respond?
Less than a minute, I imagine.
When you arrived, did Officer Roy also arrive either before you or right after you?
He arrived just before I did.
Okay, and were you the first two officers on scene?
Yes, we were.
Okay. Did you provide or try to provide life-saving efforts to one of the two police officers found there?
Yes, I did.
And who was that?
Officer Jeff Kokap.
Okay. And did you check his vitals?
Yes, I did.
Was he breathing?
No, he was not.
Did he have a pulse?
No, he did not.
And was he responsive?
No, he was not.
Did he appear to have a wound somewhere on his body?
Yes, sir.
And where was that?
Looked at, from what I could tell, it looked to be on the right side of his face, around his ear.
Okay. And did you begin to do CPR on him?
Yes, I did.
All right. And at some point, were you relieved?
Yes, I was.
By another officer?
Yes.
Right. Now, did you, after being relieved, did you go to Officer Curtis's patrol car?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do that?
Well, I knew Officer Curtis had a video camera, and also we have laptop computers that we usually, if we run tags or run an individual or anything like that, that will show up.
Okay. And were you hoping that he had maybe run the person in this traffic stop or run a person's name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you arrived or got to his patrol car, did you view the in-car computer?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May I approach the witness, Chair?
Yes, sir.
Officer Logan, I'm going to ask you to take a look at states A21, 22, and 23. Have you previously seen these photographs?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And do they accurately depict part of the screen that was viewable on Officer Curtis's in-car computer?
Yes, it does.
And then states A116, 117, all these marked for identification, do those also show part of the screen that was on his computer?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Did you say 116 and 117?
Yes, sir, A117 and 116. Have you had an opportunity to view states B?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and that is the dash cam video from Officer Curtis's car?
Yes, sir.
In addition to looking at Officer Curtis's computer, did you also try to look at his L3 video system?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury how big the screen is that system runs on?
It's probably at most maybe 3 inches by 2 inches.
Okay, and it's a separate screen from the computer screen?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And what you saw on the L3, did you view the L3 video system up and see the parts of the traffic stop that
Yes, I
Officer
did.
Curtis conducted?
Yes, I did.
And was that accurately reflected in States B?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And does States B accurately reflect you and Officer Logan as you, or you and Officer Roy as you responded to the scene?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Were you able to see much on the L3 system when you viewed it?
No, I was not able to.
Okay. Did you see any of the shooting itself?
Yes, I did.
And did you see the direction that the person who did the shooting ran or went in?
No, I did not.
Is that what you were hoping to find?
Yes, that was what I was.
Did you see the direction that the driver of the car went?
Yes, the vehicle continued southbound on 50th Street.
I'll turn to the witness, Judge.
Questions, Counsel?
Yes, good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Now, when you arrived on scene, after you arrived, there were many additional people who arrived as well. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
EMTs arrived
Not initially, no.
later.
Yes.
Firefighters arrived.
Later, yes.
Lots of other police officers.
Yes, ma'am.
And there were civilians on scene as well.
Yes.
That's all I have.
You redirect, Counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Will this officer be released or need to remain under subpoena?
He can be released, Your Honor.
Before that happens, I may just not have heard it. Did you show him all three, 21, 22, and 23?
Yes, Counsel, I did.
Okay, I didn't hear you announce it, and I wasn't sure it was on record.
That's fine.
All right, thank you,
Will
Your
he
Honor.
be released? Will he be released from subpoena?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your
Officer
Honor.
released from subpoena, please go for your release. Members of the jury, you've been sitting for about an hour and 15 minutes. There are 16 of you, but as you know, our jury room here is a little not as nice as it was in Orlando. We don't have the one restroom facility. We're going to go ahead and take a 20-minute break. If you need more than that, it's not a problem. Please don't discuss the case during the break. And okay, we'll take outside this morning.
All rise. If you would just leave your clipboards in your chair. The jury's left the court will be recessed till 10:35.